Make sure you're smashing the thumbs up button on the stream, guys. Come on, make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Let's get some yes in the chats for some shout-outs, and we'll give some of you guys a shout-out as well. I've got a stacked panel for you. Still 2 to come as well. We've got City Bevel TV, as always, on the show. Built to Bevel. Sai has joined us. He's already been cooking me backstage. This guy never has a day off. I don't know why. And Pulpy's joined us for the first time on the channel. Hopefully get Pulpy on a lot more as the season progresses. Let's have a look who some of you guys in the chat. I think we've got in the building. Built to Marshy Boy. Good to see you, my mate. Tyrese is here. Herbal's in the building. Mad Dog. We've got AU City. Frazee. Tommy. Tom. Macolo. Built to Lauren. Stephanie. Sahin's here. Built to Dell, Millsy, Lee Gates, Max OJ, Elder, Signed Silver, Backs Only, MJG, RTD Edits, KDB, Del R. Good to see you, man. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Listen, we are going to be speaking about quite a lot today. Obviously, City got that 2-0 win. We drew there last year, so we're already 2 points ahead of where we were last year, if you consider that like a positive way. We're going to be speaking Jeremy Doku, but first of all, I want to speak about Savio. We'll go with Savinho. That's what he wants to be called. 45 minutes. Unfortunately, he picks up an injury and then gets subbed off at half time. But that first 45 minutes, listen, guys, I thought he was really, really good. He absolutely destroyed Cucurella on that on our right there, left-hand side. And, you know, I think, given the fact he's only 19 years old, we've got a super exciting player. Pulpy, let me start off straight away with you, man. I mean, Savinho debut, to perform like that, mate, at Stamford Bridge on his first game, I thought it was mega. Yeah,
it's exciting, right? He was, as much as we've enjoyed, like, Doku being direct, this guy's even more direct, right? He will go at anybody. And to say he's 19, he's fearless. You know, to say that he started facing up on the left and then went straight to the right, and he just took Cucurella to pieces, didn't he? You know,
yeah. You know what? Well, I thought to me, I thought like, before the game started, I was speaking to the chat and I watched him. I was like, "Yo, chat, I think he's going to play well, but if he doesn't, like, just don't cook him." Because I was like, "There's no way this guy's turning up on his Premier League debut at 19 years old at Stamford Bridge and putting like a top performance." And like, he absolutely tore Cucurella apart. I was absolutely gutted, man, that the guy obviously got subbed off. But I mean, what a player! And of course, like, we have options now, but like, literally, I don't know. I'll open up to the panel. Savinho, like, what do we think, man?
Well, first of all, do we have any news on the supposed injury, or was it just precaution?
Yeah, we got some news coming out, bro. For Pep Guardiola spoke after the game about Savio. He said it's not. He says we don't fully know what's happened, but it's not a big problem. Okay. So what that fully means, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, this as well. Let me put this up on the screen for you, bro. He also said this. He said he's got some disturbances in the knee. He said he knows perfectly why. He's had it in the past. Apparently, it's not a big problem. He'll be ready, hopefully, for next Saturday. Oh, there we go then. So hopefully back for next week.
Oh, I would love to watch him against Ipswich on Saturday, bro. Yeah. I've been excited about that. So I hope he plays, but maybe he won't risk him. You know, knee problems can be a bit tricky. So, but no, I loved him, LB. I thought he was really good. Definitely our best attacking outlet in the first half. The stats backs it up, and he's so excited. And one thing I really liked was Savio and Doku started off a bit slow when Savio played on the left and Doku on the right. They changed themselves. Pep didn't ask them to change. They did them themselves, and I like that confidence. Pep didn't instruct that. No, he didn't. He said they changed by themselves, and then they started playing well.
Yeah, has Pep confirmed this?
Yeah, that's Pep's words, not mine. And I think that is that's a show of confidence, and I really like that. Analyzing, I'm not playing at the level I should in this position. I would be better, right? And Doku would thinking the same, and then they change it, and then they start playing really good.
Let me read this out then. I didn't know this. So Pep Guardiola said, I know Savio likes to play on the right and Doku on the left, and normally what happens is I have to put Savio on the right and Doku on the left, but I wanted players to attack more to the byline. So Doku goes on the right, Savio on the left, obviously on the stronger foot. The secret is then, when they switched, they decided. I didn't say anything. In certain points, Doku over there on the right, I said to Juanma, what is he doing? And they changed. And after they started to play good. So that's why I learned that I have to put the players in positions that maybe they're comfortable. Mate, I didn't know that, but I completely agree. Like, I like players having the balls to make the decision, because at the end of the day, right, if Pep looks at the decision and goes, no, that's not right, Pep will tell them to say, no, you go in the way I say. So listen, I mean, they're both young players. For both of them to have the courage to basically switch positions without Pep saying it, I mean, that's crazy, man. Fair play to him.
Actually, saying, Pep, you're wrong. We will do this instead. That takes some balls, man.
Yeah, and Pep obviously backed it as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty crazy. Bevo, I mean, what was your take on Savinho today, man?
Yeah, mate. I had to take my glasses off and give him a little wipe because I thought Mahrez was back for a split minute. He was absolutely fantastic. He looked comfortable on the ball. His first touch was brilliant. Like Paulpy said, not scared to go at defenders. Twisted up Cucurella a bit. Thought it was funny to watch. I think overall he just had a great game and exciting for the rest of the season.
I think for me as well, he looks like a perfect Pep player because he's got that ability to take on a man, but he's also very intelligent on where to hold the ball. And I can see why people are talking about that, the Mahrez style. He looks a bit like Mahrez, but with a little bit more pace, doesn't he? And a little bit more burst of acceleration. And of course,
I think the other thing as well, which I was really, really impressed with, was his tracking back and trying to win the ball back. There was a couple of times that I saw where he sort of sprinted back a little bit and tried to intercept the ball and made a couple of challenges. And I didn't see enough of that last year, especially from Doku. So to see him coming in and trying to intercept that ball and trying to make things happen, it was really, really good to see.
Yeah, he did work so hard off the ball. I mean, I just did the player ratings and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm pretty sure he won like 4 ground duels or something like that. So listen, I think it's really, really promising. Let's keep our feet on the ground. You know what I mean? Let's not hype him up too much because, you know, we don't know. He's probably going to have a dip at some point. I mean, he's 19 and he's just joined the Premier League. You know what I mean? A new country. Let's see how he gets on. But it's really promising. But I agree. Hopefully he's back for next week because it's at the Etihad and it would be good to see him play against Ipswich. You know, I think that would be good for him. Joe, welcome to the show, man. Big up to you for coming on. Savinho, cooking. What are you saying?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, I think he showed a lot of the. He showed a lot of like the good touches and like dribbling and stuff like that. Kind of a bit of a carry on of what we saw in his brief sort of cameo last week as well. I don't think obviously like he didn't create anything, which is kind of like, you know, it's nice that we saw, you know, the technical ability from him at least. But I think both of our wingers were pretty like ineffective today, like going like in terms of going forward and creating chances. So I'm kind of like I'm a bit sort of more tempered about how he performed today more than some are maybe. I think he showed the technical ability that he's got ultimately, which is very exciting because I think that, you know, if his first touch is as good as it was today, if that's just like his general level first touch wise, then God, yeah, the Mahrez comparisons might start to actually, you know, be pretty decent. But yeah, I just want to see. I think I just want to see the chances created. I just want to see a bit more of that really come from him. And obviously, you're not going to get that in your first 45 minutes starting for City against Chelsea, are you, at Stamford Bridge? There are much more, like you say, Ipswich next week would be really the perfect time to sort of see him come in and get a bit more of a chance to do that. But yeah, I think it was exciting, but ultimately, wingers are there to create chances, and neither of our wingers really did that at all today. So yeah,
wasn't Doku the one that created the chance for the Haaland goal?
He did in the sense that he kind of kicked the ball vaguely towards the penalty area from like 30 yards out, and Bernardo helped him. But every time he got anywhere near the penalty area, it felt like he kind of just hit and hoped it and didn't really find I don't think he actually found a City player at all in the game apart from that one that ultimately led to obviously it led to Haaland's goals. That's great, but you know, I'm not looking at that pass and thinking, wow, Doku, what a moment from him. It was very
I hear that. So it is quite interesting because this Doku debate has started again. I see it on Twitter. I see your thread with the American citizen who always seems to find himself involved in these conversations. But yeah, when it comes to Doku, listen, I've been very clear, and I said it on the player ratings. Like, does his end product need to improve. Yeah, it does need to improve. But I do feel that people, in my view, are looking too much towards the end product and not looking at the other stuff that he's doing, right? Because his hold-up play today was fantastic. He was so strong and he was built. He was giving the ball to Kovacic and basically he did today a lot what Grealish does at times in terms of holding the ball on the wing, give it to Kevin De Bruyne or give it to Kovacic. But I do feel, in my view, and it's just my view, John, I'm interested to hear what you say, that when it comes to Doku, it's doesn't create chances, but he's doing a lot of what Grealish does as well, but he doesn't get the credit at times that Grealish does, because Grealish doesn't create a lot of chances as per the stats. What would your view on that be?
Yeah, I definitely get that, because I think the kind of thing for me is that it's almost like a choice, isn't it? Like Grealish, but Grealish does, like, when you look at the actual chances created at the end of a season, like Grealish does create chances. It's one of them where I struggle to remember them, but it gets to the end of a season and apparently the stats tell me that he's created X number of big chances, or like he's like second or third highest big chance creator. But I think it's just because what Doku does is so exciting. Like ultimately at the end of the day, like we're all very simple people. Like no matter what tactically we understand about football, the one simple truth is that a fast winger is the most exciting thing like to watch in football. Like it's definitely up there. Someone who's fast, someone who can dribble, and someone who can ultimately get chances created is that. Now I think what's most frustrating about Doku, and we maybe saw it today, in fact we did see it today a lot, like he gets into, because of that burst of pace that he has, where on a counter-attack, he can just run clear of defenders. We saw it once or twice today. He can just run clear of a back four. But then what is the point of that if that individual instance leads to the ball going to a Chelsea player or going out of play? That's the bit that frustrates me. And I do understand, and I also understand the counter-argument on Jack Grealish, which is that Grealish doesn't even get into those positions in the first place. Grealish is very safe. He passes it backwards and sideways, and that is equally frustrating to watch for a lot of people. And by no means is this a case of, you know, Grealish is amazing and therefore he cannot be amazing without Doku being shit, and or vice versa. Like the Doku, if he gets that final ball right, Doku is going to be
one of the best players in the league, if not the world.
A ridiculous footballer.
Yeah.
However, I think what Grealish brings when he's not creating chances, for me, it brings more to the team than one. If Doku's having an off day like he did today, where he's getting into good positions, but ultimately just not creating a single chance really for anybody, I feel like in that position, like what Grealish brings to the team overall is maybe more sort of it's a bit better for
Joe,
me. It's obviously a subjective thing.
Yeah,
but isn't the most frustrating thing that Doku does the hard part of football, and then
absolutely.
I mean, when you watch that, you get hyped. So he does like 90% of the job. And then what should be the easy part for the amount of times he get into a position where he should be able to create something of some sort of quality. And then that just don't happen. I think that's the frustrating part when I'm watching him, because he does things that many other players don't or can't. And then what should be the easy part of what he's just done, that's where he don't delivers.
Yeah, but is this not why we have to stick? But is this not why we have to stick with Doku and keep backing him?
Of course,
for
yeah,
me,
sure.
The guy's only 22. Like,
by no means just said then. If he does get that final ball right, and I believe that at some point it's going to click, it's going to be absolutely frightening. I mean, he's tearing these Premier League fullbacks apart, right? And I do get it. Like, some of his final balls need to be improved. Maybe he just needs to take a little bit of a breather. But if he gets it right, you've seen it against Bournemouth last year, what happens when he gets it right. Yeah, I mean, what did he get? Like 5 assists that day. And I think honestly, we've got to stick with him. Martin, let me bring you into the conversation. The Doku debate. I know you love this conversation. It sparked up again. It seems to spark up whenever he plays. Where are you on this Jeremy Doku debate, man?
I'm bored of it. No, not with this. Just I'm bored with the whole debate. I don't do this big up a player by putting down another player. I'm bored of that crap. It really, for me, they all play in a blue shirt. Why can't we back everyone? I don't get all this. Listen, I understand people have the favourites. I understand it. Jack Grealish hadn't even played a game and was slagging him off. Doku's played one game.
But to be fair though, Martin, no one's slagging Jack Grealish off.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm talking just generally.
Yeah.
This
What
is
do
what
you-
I don't understand. I don't get all this. But listen, Doku did a 95% brilliant today. Final
I agree.
ball. That's
agree.
all.
I thought it was
Final
good.
ball can be worked on in training.
Mm.
That's
I-
all. But
sorry.
what annoys me is I turn around and say Doku does 95% great and it's his final ball, and I get cooked. You know, this is the problem. Unless I turn around and go, Doku's the greatest player on the planet, it's not going to help for some. The same way I don't understand why we do this. My boy versus your boy. They're none of our boys. Do you want to know who boys they are? The Manchester City boys. We're all Manchester City fans. Sometimes we sound like United fans doing all this. He's better than my guy, and my guy's better than your guy. They're not coming round for tea. They're not taking you out for a drink, ladies and gents. They don't know who you are from Adam. If you big up Doku, he isn't going to reply to you and take you out for a drink. And you big up Jack Grealish, he ain't taking you out for a drink. What does it matter? I don't get it. I don't get it. It baffles me.
Go on, Pulpit, mate. What was you going to say?
I was just about to add into the Doku debate there about that. Look, his final product's not there right now, but one thing that he does that we rely on now is he will stretch defenders. Like, it's that old adage of you hit the ball over the top of over the centre backs and let the striker run it, and it's the worst nightmare. Well, Doku now, as he's improving and being more direct, I don't know how many successful dribbles he had today, but he frightens the life out of them wingers, the fullbacks. Sorry. So having the ability to go past someone, it might get us up the pitch 50 yards faster than it would do the little tiki-taka stuff around the corners. And now adding that onto the side where we've got Savinho now, we've got such like alternatives where we can use the pace to get in behind and stretch the fullbacks and then get our midfielders up there, which is like where Kovacic's goal came from today, was how we were pressing with our fast wingers. You know, that's the value that Doku's going to bring to us, especially in this early part of the season where, you know, we're trying to find our feet. Having somebody to be able to just run in behind all day and make them spaces is valuable for us.
Well, you know what it is for me though as well, right? It's the fact that we've got options, man. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, you know what I mean? Again, I've seen a lot of people, you know, cooking Doku on the timeline, and I'm like, we've got options now. You're spot on. Like, if you want to use Grealish for maybe a tighter game, you need a bit more control. Like, I think if Grealish was fully fit, I think he would have come on towards the end of that game, to be honest with you, to see it out. I think the only reason he didn't come on is because it's probably just because of his injuries. But like, again, we can use Doku in certain games, we can use Grealish in certain games, but this constant thing, obviously, about Doku and his end product, yes, it needs to improve, but it will improve. That's the thing. And eventually, when it does improve, it's going to be a super scary sort of winger for opposition.
Yeah,
I just think we should stick with it.
There's this thing of, listen, Jack's going to playing games. Fans won't like that. Pep is not just going to bench Jack for 38 games the rest of the season. See you later.
Well, he would have played today. Did he get injured? He would have played at the weekend, and he would have played today.
He's going to play Doku. He's going to play Savinho. He'll play Oscar Bob.
Yeah, of course he will. Rightly so as well.
You know, that's all my point is. He's going to, you know, you get these Jack haters that turn and say, well, bench Jack forever. Ain't happening. Then you get the listen, like I said, Doku does 95% brilliantly. All it is the final ball. People forget it's 21, 22. Got to work on it. No, people rave about Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis for 20 minutes in the game today looked a little bit sort of lamb to the slaughter, and then he grew into it. Players are going to make mistakes. That's human nature. That's all I'm saying. For me, Savinho looked really good, but it's 45 minutes. Listen, Pep will make changes next week because you've still got 4 or 5 players that haven't touched grass yet. He's not going to leave John Stones, Walker, and Rodri and you know, and all these players just never playing for the next 4 weeks. Yeah, we've got to get match fit. They're going to play against Ipswich, or they'll play the game after. That's just football. Yeah, facts. Pep said it himself. There's 68 games or whatever there is left.
Yeah. Well, this is why it's important to have the options, man. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like I say, I think it's massively, people are not looking at it properly, and like we've got that rotation now, and we can play pacey wingers if we want. You want to play Bernardo on the wing and Grealish on the wings for the control. Like if you go to the Bernabeu, it would surprise me if he plays Grealish and Bernardo on the wings, and we can hold the ball up the pitch. You want to go at teams like we've got Ipswich coming up at the weekend. You go Savinho and Doku, and I just think we've got great players, man. I think we've got great players. They bring something else. They've all got things. They've all got stuff that they need to improve on. Do you know what I mean? Like we want to do that. They've all got stuff. Grealish needs to improve his G&A. Doku needs to improve his final ball. Do you know what I mean? Like Bob's perfect. To be fair, he doesn't need to change anything. Savio, obviously, we've seen 45 minutes. You know what I mean? So I'm just happy that what the options that we've got. Sorry, Bevel, did you want to come in with?
Yeah, I was just going to say there's such a rawness about Doku. You know, there is this misconception that he doesn't create chances. He does. It's just the fact that he's so raw. When you've got opposition defenders that don't know what he's going to do, our team don't know what he's going to do either. You know, like you look at the Chelsea, the chance that he had at the Chelsea game before, where he dribbled past 3-4 defenders in the box, and then he tried to pop it back to Haaland. If Haaland would have known that's where he was going to play the ball, Haaland would have got the right side of the man. The thing is he plays with such a rawness that I don't even think our own team knows what he's going to do.
He does. I tell you one thing that they need to start doing, though, right, is making near post runs. And this is where, again, we really, really miss Gundogan, because Doku, a lot of the time, makes these near post crosses. And Gundogan always used to make near post runs, man, and like try and flick it with the outside of his boot. And we don't have anyone at the moment, because we don't really have any of those late arrivers like the Frank Lampard-esque type players. Gundogan was the last one. Kev doesn't really make the runs. He stays on the edge of the box. And, basically then, I mean, is this not another point, though? Like the fact that he's only really got Haaland to aim the ball at in the penalty area.
Yeah, that is a bit of a problem.
That is true, because again, like I'm not trying to be a Doku apologist. I get that sometimes his final ball isn't great, but at the same time, the amount of times he crosses the ball and there's one player inside the penalty area.
But then on the other hand, after a year of that being the case, should you not change what you do when you get to the byline at that point? Like, if you've had a year of like knowing that only Haaland is the guy, like basically if you're going to play a high cross into the box, it's either at Haaland or no one's getting it, basically. So maybe don't do that if that's your only option to do it.
Is it Doku that should change, or is it the way we play and then get more people in the box? Because I don't think what Doku's doing is wrong. I think we should just utilize his qualities better.
But the problem is
Pep's not going to change the team side.
When Doku's doing,
it's not about changing the team, Martin. It's about realizing that when he gets the ball and when he goes to the byline where the ball will be. So it's not about
the annoying thing is though is because Doku's a lot of the best bit about what Doku does is that pace that he has, and that sort of ability is just like ghost past a man. Like you're either basically asking City to put all of their midfield in the box to basically just in case he gets past the man and puts a cross in, or asking the whole of midfield to just sort of react to the moment that he does pass him. It's like, because he's so fast, like you can only really put one or two guys in the box. And I get it that it's not just as simple as Doku just needs to have this laser vision and pass it to a City player every single time he gets the ball. But there was one today in particular where he had the ball sort of like running sort of about halfway through the Chelsea opposition half, and it was just literally there was one defender, and if he just passes it like slightly to the left or right, Haaland has got to run onto the ball, and he still managed to mess. Like that's the bit that he still needs to work on. I think. It's a bit like the way that one of my mates likened it today is sort of it's a bit like Sterling, where like everything he does is amazing. And then he kicks the ball over the bar against Leon, and then you really feel like you just don't like him for that moment in time.
I literally said, chat will confirm. Yeah, I did a watch along when he played for Stade Rennes, the final game he did for Stade Rennes, and on that watch along, I said, City fans are going to hate him, and some City fans are going to love him. He is the Sterling regen in terms of fan opinion. Like some people think he's trash, and some people think he's amazing. Like it's crazy. I will tell you one thing though, yeah, sort of moving away from this Doku debate a little bit. By the way, guys, if you're watching back on replay, feel free to give your comments in down below. One thing that I felt that we did improve on today, which was nice to see, only a little bit, but I think we'll get there as the season goes on, is transitional football and counter-attacking football. We was a lot better. I spoke about this just before the game kicked off on the watch-along, how in previous years gone by, especially, post Sane and post Sterling, we really didn't counter-attack teams at all. We'd get the ball up the pitch and then we'd cut back. Today with Savinho and Doku, I really saw, like, at times we were trying to get the ball forward fast. How many times did we see balls played down the channels for Savinho, balls played down the channel for Doku, and we attack with real pace? And I don't think we're going to do it every time. I said this on the watch along. I think we need to pick and choose the moments that we do it. But again, Pulpy, I'll come to you on this one. I mean, that's something we've still won leagues, but that is something that's been a bit absent since Sterling and Sane left.
Yeah, I mean, last season we only really had in terms of a direct attack, we only really had Doku that was willing to run in behind, really. And now we have these other options. It's like if we have 3 people running at the defence, that's 3 options, and there's only 4 defenders. It's going to create gaps. I'm interested to see how, like, because obviously for Foden come on in the second half for him now. I'm interested to see if, like, we do have Savinho on when Bob's back, how Foden's going to go centrally for that, because even him having them 4, them 2 wingers, a striker and a 4 going forward with counter attack there, that's the perfect sort of like front diamond, really. But yeah, in terms of like the overall sort of counter attacking style, it's something we've not, like you said, it's something we've not had for a while, and it's something we've missed because it used to be a case of get the ball up, hold it up, and knock it out to wings, and it's that slow build up play. Whereas now, with the raw pace we have, it's going to basically get us down the pitch faster. And it's going to give us opportunities to then get the ball back and do something with it when we're in that half faster than it would have done if it would have been like just, for instance, Grealish gets the ball on the wing, knocks it back to the fullback, and we just slowly march forward. Now it's like in behind, off we go, deal with it, crash bang ball, a bit like Liverpool's way, that heavy metal football. It's a bit similar to that. Like these 2 flying wingers, even 3 sometimes, three attacking players. Like it's going to be exciting times when we can finally start to nail it down a bit. It'll be brilliant to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm looking forward to this new brand of football. And listen, I said this at the start of the season. I said we will change the way we play. We change every year. Like, who would have thought last year we would have changed from what was so successful that won us the treble? You know what I mean? Everyone would have thought that we would have just played a centre back in midfield. He didn't. He played Kovacic left wing. You know what I mean? Often we didn't play a left winger. This season, we're going to see something else. It might be a fundamental change in the way that we play football. We'll get the ball forward quicker. And I think that for me, this is just another weapon that's available to Pep Guardiola and another danger to opposition. Like you say, we don't just have those slow build-up players anymore. We had Doku last year. It was his first season. Only started getting well towards the end. Now we have Savinho. We've got Bob coming into the fold as well in January. Obviously Doku, and then you've still got your slower players in Grealish and Bernardo, who are useful for certain stuff, and in certain games they'll be more useful than the fast players. So I just think I keep repeating this, but I think it's really, really good that Pep has these options, man. But yeah, let me open it up to the floor again on this sort of fast attacking counter attacks. Anyone got anything to say on that one?
I think it'll be particularly good for games like today where we're playing against the Big Six. Like, I think when you've got teams who are going to actually like sort of press us a little bit and go for us a bit more, then I think it also particularly helps out Haaland as well, because I think if you look at, obviously not that he needs a lot of help, the guy's got like 91 goals in 100 games at the moment. Like, I think he's probably doing fine, but I think it's as well as anything, it's the fact that it creates different ways for him to get the balls. Like, I think about the number of times where we've had like a semi counter attack on, and Haaland is just like by far and away faster than like anyone else who's on the counter attack with him. So he's got to check his own run the whole time. Whereas if you've got 2 wingers, a bit like when it was at Dortmund, like I think he had Sancho and was it Brandt on the other side, who are both sort of like running down the wings with him. And that kind of like pacey counter attack that they had like led to him scoring so many goals. And I think us having, like you say, just the option to do that at least gives another way for us to, if it's a game where maybe Haaland's being a bit, pushed out or a bit forced out by defenders just man-marking him the whole time, if you create a counter-attacking opportunity where he has the opportunity to just run away from those defenders and just beat them for pace, because we know we've got wingers who can keep up with that and create a chance for him at the end of it, then that's massive. That's just another way to sort of make Haaland even more effective than he already is. But I think, particularly in games against the big, if we're playing against Liverpool or we're playing against, a team like maybe Spurs or something like that, Arsenal as well, like those kind of games are where having the ability to just sort of go from defense to go from our box to their box in the space of like 10 seconds is going to be
And the thing I was add to that as well is that which games are we more likely to counter attack in? Well, it's the bigger games, because when you play the bigger games against the better opposition, they have more of the ball. So when we play some teams at home, we have 75-80% of the ball. We don't do much counter attacking in those games. In the big games, and as well, I actually think people need to start giving Doku some credit now for his work rate, because yes, at the start of the season when he first come in last year, his work rate was poor. He obviously got bollocked off Pep Guardiola, and everyone could see it. And towards the end of the season, it really improved. And today again, his work rate was really good. And I just don't want 2-3 months of his work rate not being good right at the start of his City career to just tag along with his name throughout his whole City career. He works very hard. Like, go and look at the stats today, the amount of tackles that he put in. He made a lot of successes as well. Savinho as well today. Yeah, he started very well in terms of his work rate. There was no sort of laziness from him. I just don't want that tagline to sort of follow Doku around, because 2-3 months of him just learning and getting used to the system, man. But honestly, man, I think the winger situation is good. I love the debate. I know Martin doesn't like the debate. I love the debate. I'll tell you why I love the debate, because it's interesting hearing people's different opinions and getting people's different views. I think that Doku is going to be a super special player, but he does need to improve that final ball. Savinho looks super exciting, but Martin's also right. It's only 45 minutes. Before I want to move on from the sort of winger sort of situation, but before I do, does anyone else want to say anything else, or hold your peace forever?
I just want to say I still back Doku to get at least 20 GNA in the league.
I would be surprised if that happens.
In the league this season?
In the league this season. I said it before the season started.
Oh my God.
This will happen.
He's back in for another Bournemouth game, bro. That's what is happening, isn't it?
You're gonna need 6 Bournemouth games for that.
Yeah, we need some rules. We need some stipulations on that, right? It can't happen in like 3 games. He can't just get like 7 goals. You can't get 7 GNA in like 3 separate games like he did last year against Bournemouth, right? It has to be over.
How many did he get last season? Was it like 7?
I'm not. I got like almost 15, I think.
In the Premier League last year?
Not in the Premier League.
In the league, it's around 12. 10 or 12, yeah.
He got 12.
Yeah.
He got
3 goals. Don't test me. I know my stats, boys.
3 goals, 9 assists. But to be fair, out of those 12, 5 did come in 1 game.
Yeah. And I think he will be playing a lot of the, should we say, lesser teams in the league. And I think he will rack up the GNA. I have confidence in my boy.
Okay, I'll back you.
Yeah.
I'll back you. By the way, Si, you know how you say I don't know nothing about football?
Oh yeah, no. I know what you're gonna say.
I've gone for a 2-0 Manchester City win, guys. Let me know in the chat score predictions. I'm going to get some of your score predictions up on screen right now. 2-0 win for me. I'm going Erling Haaland with the goal, and I'm going to go goal for Mateo Kovacic against his former club. It'll be his only goal of the Premier League season on match day 1 of the Premier League. Let's have a look what you...
Tell me you put a bet on that.
That was very good.
I didn't put a bet on that. Mate, he said it was 100.
Yeah, but he always talk, talk, never backs his talk. But if you get it right also, that will be his only goal this season. I mean...
Someone messaged me and said, LB, of course he's going to score more than a single goal. I sent him the picture of the his Premier League goals. Yeah. He's only ever scored a maximum of 2 goals in a Premier League season. So it's probably going to happen. Listen, I want to speak about Mateo Kovacic and the DM situation. For me, Mateo Kovacic today, man of the match. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. He ran the midfield in the first half. He was on his own as well. This is something that's super important to remember as well. First half, he wasn't in a double pivot with Bernardo first half. First half, Bernardo was basically our attacking midfielder. Second half, Bernardo started to get deeper because obviously we was winning and we wanted to solidify it a bit more. But my God, Mateo Kovacic, man, what a performance. Great goal as well. Man of the match for me. The question that I want to ask you, 2 questions. First of all, talk to you about his performance today. But do we now need a DM, or are we confident that Kovacic can do this? Let me open it up to whoever wants to go on that. Mateo Kovacic.
Just want to start off by saying I want to make a bit of a public apology. Mateo Kovacic, I was not familiar with your game.
Full screen.
Absolutely fantastic today. Oh, no, don't put me full screen.
If you want an apology, you have to go full screen.
Yeah. Do you know what? There's been some shows where I've come on and I've said, he's good. standard, 7 out of 10s pretty much every game, absolutely fine for sort of what we need. But I think this season in particular, we've seen it against United. I've rewatched that game back, and I think he looks very, very good. I think today he was exceptional. Yeah, my man of the match. I was always I wasn't sure if he could do that Rodri role on his own, but let's not get it twisted. Yeah, Chelsea aren't in the greatest of form, but going away to Stamford Bridge is not an easy place to go, especially when you used to play for that club.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is he held his own really, really well today.
Yeah.
That goal, absolutely incredible. It reminded me of the game. I forget. It was either Celtic or AC Milan, maybe, where he sort of got the ball in his own half and then sort of dribbled most of the way up the pitch, passed it to Grealish, and then he scored. But rather than passing it, he took the shot and scored. The ball carrying side of it, not a problem. Defensive side of it,
his ball carrying is unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal ball carry.
He drives with some people dribble with a ball. He drives. Don't he? He's like once he gets going, the first 3 or 4 yards, he's off, and he
reminds me of Iniesta the way he drives with the ball.
Yeah, he's generally. I think he generally is world class.
Yeah,
it was in a bit last season. He was in a bit of everyone was probably missing Gundogan a bit too much last year.
Yeah,
and I would say you would know it was even if he could have had the season of his life, he would never have come out them shadows. But this year, his ball retention, the way he can keep holds people off, and he just never gives the ball away.
It's the knowledge as well.
He'll take the ball. It takes the ball like Foden does. Foden takes it in our term. Kovacic takes it. He's back to goal.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, oh my God, he's under pressure. He'll just sort of like wriggle out of it.
He does, doesn't it? He gets the ball on the edge of the penalty area, and he's got his back. He's got his back to the play, and you think he's going to get dispossessed here, and he'll just skip round and see you later.
Yeah, he drops his shoulders so well for a centre midfielder.
Yeah,
he plays like a winger in centre mid. The way he drops his shoulders, honestly, I don't think there's many people like that in this league.
And I think his IQ as well, his knowledge of just the all-round game, it's that really, really helped him today. Obviously, I think the stat was this is the youngest Chelsea team ever in the history of the Premier League. And that showed. I think him being in the middle, I think it just showed that wealth of knowledge and experience that he's got in the middle of the park.
Yeah, he's one of our most experienced players. You can just see the way he handles the game. He's had how many? Was it Real Madrid for 4 years, 5 years? Chelsea for the same.
Inter Milan.
He played in Chelsea peak the peak of the last decade. He was in a good team at Real Madrid, and he's just come straight in there and just thought, you know what, I'm in.
And the thing is, this is why I said it was a mint signing last year, because at the end of the day, 25 million this day and age is no money at all anyway. And this guy, I'm not being funny, but like you said, he's played X amount of times for Real Madrid. He's played for Inter Milan. He's played for Chelsea. He's got over 100 caps for his country. This guy's not going to walk in and be like scared or like nervous. He's just going to absorb the information, because he's at the point of his career now where he probably just wants to play for mint managers and like experience like Pep, and maybe he might go and play for Mourinho in a couple of years, and he might want to win a couple of trophies and just enjoy his career. He's not at that like sort of ego stage of his career where he's like, I demand this, I demand that. And as a result, he's just flourishing. And today, man, like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm gonna ask you guys a question, because I said it on the watch along. Was that his best performance in his City shirt? Because I think it might have been for me.
Yeah.
Top three in it, I think. Yeah.
I don't think there's any question. By far.
Yeah.
He's unreal. I find it so funny that Chelsea wanted to get rid of him. Like it's. I know that Chelsea are just an absolute batshit club at the best of times at the moment, but like, I can't believe that. It was one of them where Chelsea fans were quite happy to see the back of him, because like he'd not been in great form at the time that they decided to come and sell him. But I think given the state of the club, I don't think anyone can really blame a player like Kovacic for having like pretty much zero direction in midfield and not being able to do what he's best at. Because obviously, like, why he can be so good for us is because he knows he's got a very structured team around him who know what where to be when he gets the ball in certain positions, and what to do, everything like that. And the fact that he kind of lost that at Chelsea because of the state of that club generally over the last like 3 or 4 years is just like it's so funny that they've basically gifted us. I mean, he is obviously, apart from the fact that Gundogan chips in with like 10 plus goals a season, he is about as close to a Gundogan replacement as you can really get.
Well, the thing is as well, Joe, they had £300 million of midfielder on the pitch today. Yeah, Kovacic was better than every single one of them. Yeah, and they sold him for 25 million. This was an astute signing.
Every team and all fans now want these exciting players. Sometimes you just need a Kovacic who's got a wealth of experience, knows what to do at the right times, and sometimes you just need that player that just keeps it ticking over. You don't need these exciting, João Neveses and, as nice as they are to have in your team, sometimes having that experience and, like you were saying before, 5 years at Real Madrid, 5 years at Chelsea, he's been there, he's done it, Inter Milan as well.
Yeah,
I think that shows on the pitch.
He is like the working man's midfielder, right? And he's sort of everyone loves these posh, these like really fancy players who can do this and do this and that, but he just does everything what you would expect from a midfielder, everything so well. Yeah, it's just simple. He doesn't need fancy tricks and flicks and all that. He does what he needs to do. I'll tell you what, he doesn't score many goals, but he has got a shot on him. He's some of his, I bet his top 10 goals rival with some of the best in the Premier League for what he scored over his career.
Yeah, that's because he does the whole. Yeah, like I mean, if I had shots from the outside at some point, I'm going to score a goal. You know what I mean? But like his target is 3 goals. His record in the Premier League is 2 goals in a season.
He's getting 2 at Ipswich now. He's getting 2 at Ipswich, and then he's done for the season. Yeah.
Listen, I want to just reset some of these super chats out because they've been here for quite a while, man.
Donna's moving mad.
Yeah, listen, Pulpit, don't know Donna, innit? Because this is the first time on the show. But
I don't know if you've seen these super chats, but yeah,
I have seen them. Yeah,
you're in for a treat.
I love your beard. Are you single, Mr. LB? Can you introduce me to Mr. Pulpy, please? Mr. Pulpy, you're increasing my heart rate. Mr. Pulpy, you have stolen my days and nights. Mr. Pulpy, will you go on holiday to Miami with me? Myself, Donna Cullen, Executive Director of Spurs. Mr. Pulpy, what's your ideal honeymoon place? Mr. Pulpy, will you walk down the aisle with me? Mr. Martin, can you be Mr. Pulpy's best man?
What currency is that?
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope they're not spending if they're spending £40.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. But,
rupees. I think it's
is it rupees?
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah, Pulpit, don't worry, you'll get used to Donna. Let's have a look at some other stuff that's going on. Oh, Donna also gifted a membership to the channel. Thank you very much, Donna, for all the super chats. The
37p. Don't worry. Which is still, it's
there we go.
Still generous.
Big up for the gifted.
About 37 quid then by the time you're counting up always.
MP, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. I appreciate the support. Big up to NP and also Chris Bailey as well. Became a member earlier on. Big up to NP. Big up to Chris Bailey. CB with the super chat says, let wingers make mistakes. The risk is worth it. I guess that's probably about Savinho, probably towards Doku, to be fair. Big up to you, CB. Thanks for supporting. And Lou says, big up panel. There's this beautiful X at the top right of the live chat that closes it. Like when my meds stop the voices in my head. Come on, City. Big up Lou. That's pretty funny, that. Okay, so guys, do we need to still buy a DM or is Kovacic the answer? I'm going to say I would still be looking in the market for
I 100% still think we need one because I don't want when KDB goes down, I'm holding my breath. Like I said, we've got no one. Any injury, and we haven't got a bench.
The other thing to note as well is if Kovacic picks up an injury, which is likely because, he's getting on a bit. I say getting on, he's what? 29, 30, something like that.
I think he's 30 now, yeah.
I think he's 30,
but still, when you kind of get to sort of in your 30s, it takes longer to recover from an injury than it does when you're sort of in your early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'd say is we do need somebody just simply for the fact that, age isn't really on our side in that position. So
I think the big worry is is anybody going to want to come and just sit on the bench most of the season? Because that's kind of what's going to have to happen.
That's why you can't buy a DM, though, innit?
Yeah, that's it. So
I said this for 18 months. If we do buy someone, you've got to buy a Gundogan
hybrid, right? Yeah,
hybrid, because no one's going to
sit. We can't go out and buy number 9 to Rival Island because he's never going to get in the team.
Exactly.
There is
exactly the same thing. Facts.
There is a guy who is very, 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 very similar to Gundogan who may be on the market this summer, and by very similar I mean Gundogan. So we could just do that for a year, and that would pretty much solve the problem issue. Really.
Yeah. Oh, see, Joe, I'll probably get a bit of pelters for this, but
I'm going to be honest.
Never go back, mate. Never go back.
Nah.
You can't go back. It never works. When's it ever worked?
No, the only way it wouldn't work is if somehow he's over this summer he's had such a catastrophic drop off.
Yeah, but he's had a season playing. He's had a season playing in Barcelona who are bang average. Let's be honest. And you know what I mean? He's been here out of this team. It's going to take him a while to get back up to speed.
You're not asking him to play 30 games. You're asking him
to come back. You can't let him walk out as the treble-winning captain and leave him at that and let him for always be remembered as that. You know, look at Henry when he come back to Arsenal. What did he do? He scored 1 goal.
But the
fans love that.
Something like that.
That celebration against Leeds is iconic. Like I'd happily have that for Gundogan.
You can never go back in football. Never do it.
For me, it's an easy thing. You just swap him for Cancelo. You get rid of the Cancelo problem. That's done. Because listen, no one's going to pay money for Cancelo, proper money. No one's going to do it.
It's just a loan for Cancelo.
You're just going to loan him over the length of his contract.
Yeah.
What I'd say is, I think what you're doing by doing that is you basically putting a sticky patch over something which needs resolving in 12 months anyway. I think.
But does it not? But does it not need resolving now? And the reason that you're doing the sticky patch is because you can't get the operation because the operation is delayed for a year. So therefore, they mend you up with a bit of tape and say, right, sort you out in a year proper. Is that not what we're doing?
Yeah, that would essentially be what we're doing. But my worry with that is we're going to see a big change next season anyway. I think next season you're going to see the likes of Stones, Walker, KDB, all sort of starting to get phased out. I think by also then having to add another addition to that in finding a Gundogan replacement again, rather than having to make sort of 2, maybe 3 very, very critical signings, you're then going to have to make.
But we're not going to have to do that anyway, bro, because we're not signing anyone at this moment in time anyway. So we're going to have to sign that player in mid. Whether we get Gundogan or not, we're still going to have to sign that player next summer because
for me,
we're not going to sign anyone now.
It almost feels like we've basically decided that the Gundogan replacement is probably going to be Bruno G. But but it must just be that he's. But it must just be. I don't know because obviously it's not happening this summer. Like no way. But we must have some kind of confidence that he might do it next year. Or we've just literally gone. Well, there's no one as good as Bruno on the market. We're not going to do another Nunez where we just go for someone just because it's better than no one. So maybe they've just gone right. We'll hold it off another year. And if obviously this is I would love for Gundogan to come in as like a short-term replacement for that because I think that's what we need if we're not going to get we've decided
like a one-night stand.
Basically,
what it's going to be.
Everyone's
you get him as a coaching role as well. You get him on the coaching role. It can help McAtee and O'Reilly with experience. Listen, those two.
It's a no-brainer for so many reasons
to learn under. He does a year, goes on to the coaching staff.
I'll go to New York.
Be honest with you, I honestly think. I think we've been working more on next season's transfers than we have this year's.
Yeah,
I agree. Straight now, don't rule out Rodrigo next year. Don't rule out Musiala. Next year's the one when we're gonna go with it.
Next year's Verts in it. The KDB replacement has to be next year. So like that's
to me next year will be like Musiala, and I've also heard that they have spoke with Rodrigo's reps this summer.
I've said this for months. Next season, we're going to be looking at probably all in with, agents' fees and salaries. We're probably looking at 400 million all in next summer.
Yeah.
And you'll get money out.
Well, Musiala's going to cost you. If we get Musiala, which is like...
that'll be 200 million all in with agents' fees and salaries.
Well, it's a lot of money.
But you'll make a decision on Grealish next summer because you'll have to make that decision then. You don't know where you're going to be with Stones. Walker will be gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, Walker might be gone now, but if you look at the news,
I don't see that happening because then you are going to have to buy right back, and what right back is available right
do
now?
you have to buy right back? No, I don't think you do.
100%.
No.
Rico Lewis and Akanji is more
I think
Rico's
we
not
do.
ready to go 60 games. No way.
Who?
No, but you've
No,
also
No
got
way.
Akanji.
Games.
You've also got Akanji who, to be honest, is massively underrated in terms of pace.
I understand that, Bevel, but if Stones then breaks down, you become very short.
Yeah.
No, so
We're-
I say
we're
buy a
so-
centre
we're
back.
so
I'd buy
short.
Trevor.
Yeah,
I know
I'm with you.
Trevor Chalobah, bro. Get him in, man. 25 mil.
I'm not with you there,
No
Albie.
bugger wants Chalobah.
He's a
I'm
good
with you
player,
there.
man.
Are you going to
Yeah.
rejects.com to
You don't
find
know
these
what-
names? What
The
are you
The thing
doing
is,
here?
the thing is for me, if we're getting rid of Walker, and please fucking God, can we get rid of Walker? Like, we need to replace him with someone. Who is capable of doing what Walker does. I don't want, like, if we're gonna get rid of him, and then we're just gonna go right. It's Akanji and Lewis, two very non-pacey fullbacks for the full season. Then that's a bit of a problem. But I think, but also it's the fact that if we do decide that's the case, then as Martin says, if one of our centre backs goes down, or one of Akanji or Lewis goes down, like, that's a lot of pressure on very few players in our defence. I think that would make our full defensive players would be Lewis, Akanji, Diaz, Stones, Gvardiol, Ake. That's 6 players for 4 positions.
6.
You
That's
can't.
why I'd buy another right-sided centre back.
I'd buy a right back.
Who's going to get with 10 days left?
Trevor Chalobah, 25 mil. There you go.
That's unless we've had like some
Throwing a
kind of like
random name in,
long-term.
no one's coming for
Yeah,
him.
unless we've had some like long-term
No, but
interest
I
in
would
Trevor
get him.
Chalobah, which we definitely haven't. Then that's just another. That's a 4-year contract to a 1-year problem. Like that's pointless.
The other
No,
day,
I don't
Elvis,
know when this
saying
Akanji.
Wharton and Ezzy were a gamble, and you're throwing bloody Chalobah out now.
No, because Trevor Chalobah would be what, 3rd or 4th choice centre back, yeah, and he'd be 3rd choice right back. I don't know why people are so against Rico Lewis. Like you just said, you can't play Rico Lewis on his hip. Why can't Rico Lewis be trusted?
I'm fine with
Yeah,
Rico Lewis playing like 40 plus games.
Because Pat doesn't do that. Pat doesn't do that with 19, 20-year-olds. You know he don't.
It's his 3rd season. You've got to do it at some point. You've got to see if he can
It
sink
took
costs.
Foden 4 seasons to get into the first team.
Yeah, but that's a different
and he didn't
position.
fully do it then.
Rico Lewis has been put into so many different challenges, and every time he overcomes the challenge, he was fantastic yet again today. He played at Emirates last year in midfield.
Yeah.
Fantastic. At what point are we going to trust this guy to say, you know what, you are good enough?
Also, Martin, remember.
There was also a part of last season where he had a little bit of a dip.
Did he?
but-
I don't remember this.
I don't
When did he
remember
have
that.
When did he
He
have a
didn't
dip?
play.
I don't know. But Martin, remember, you said
People have got selective memories of
Foden
certain
4 years.
players.
So when
I was
was
sat in
it?
the ground
Martin,
when that was being said
Martin, remember
by who?
who Foden had to play
by the fans
against
in the ground.
midfield?
Rob. I'm not deaf. I can hear it.
Rico
No, but
Lewis
like-
has been solid, man. Rico Lewis
Yeah,
has
no,
been
there wasn't.
solid.
There might have been a few people around you in the ground saying it, but it wasn't
And
a
people on my
widely
channel.
accepted. But it wasn't a widely accepted from what I've seen, a widely accepted City opinion that Rico Lewis had some massive dip last season. He's been
No one said he
pretty
had a
much
massive
reliable whenever
dip.
we've
See, you're
played
going
him.
A to Z. No one said he had a massive dip.
You said he had a dip. Okay, they're not a massive.
Yeah, he had a
but
dip. No, but you just said massive. You added the massive on.
Right, remove the word
Which player
massive.
don't
then,
have a
but-
dip throughout the season?
I just think he needs to be trusted. At the end of the day, he's been thrown into loads of games now, and he very, very rarely makes an error. He might have had a little dip or whatever at some point, but he's 19, 20. He's going to have a dip. I think go with him. And listen, if you've got a big game that's on big, huge game that you don't trust him, just play a Kanji right back.
Yeah.
And then play Diaz and Stones, or Diaz and Ake or whatever, or play Gvardiol in the middle, play Ake. I don't think you need to buy another right back. I think Rico Lewis and Akanji are more than capable of holding that position down. And then if you wanted to, buy another right-sided centre back. You don't have to be this guy, but someone like a Trevor Chalobah who can be capable of playing 3rd, 4th choice centre back and also play right back in that situation. And I think that's all you need. I don't think you need to go out and spend loads of money on.
I agree. My point I'm making is you look at last season in the league. He started the game on the 31st of January against Burnley at home. Yeah?
Yeah.
He didn't start another game till the 31st of March.
That's got nothing
He's
to do
on the
with
bench
Rico Lewis.
2 months.
That's got nothing to do with him. That's because
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola promised Kyle Walker that he'd start every game when he signed a new contract.
Pep's also come out.
Did he?
Yes.
Where'd that quote come
It
from?
feels like he did.
He did, bro, 100%. He took him out for a meal at Deansgate, or not Deansgate, Didsbury, and then he said, please stay, we'll make you captain and we'll play. He couldn't then just say to Walker after 2 months, go, soz, mate, I know I promised you you'd play and made you captain, but you're actually not playing that well this season, so I'm playing Rico Lewis. That's why he played. That's why this year you will see a near doubling in minutes of Rico Lewis. Guarantee Rico Lewis gets to near 3,000 minutes this year. 100%.
Well, Pep came out today after the game and said, why haven't I given this guy more minutes? He literally came out after the game and said that.
Yeah. And by the way,
the reason he's not giving any more minutes is because I think everyone's too quick to throw Kyle Walker away. If you take away the fact that he runs his mouth with the pitch and is an idiot,
massively,
take that out of it, the equation, you would never be calling for him to be out of the team or be sold. You've got to take that out of the equation. He's instrumental to how we play. He might not play today, but just look at his performance when he comes up against a fast winger. Without
here's a question for you, Paul.
If you would take, go on.
I was because I agree. I personally wouldn't sell it, but here's the thing, right? If we're now looking at Kyle Walker, said you weren't particularly great last year in the defense, and we're looking at Rico Lewis and we want to push him more. Is Kyle Walker? The question isn't for me. I'm selling you Walker. Is Kyle Walker at 34 years old going to accept a rotated position in this squad? I don't think he is, and I think that's why the rumors are coming about Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Saudi must be tempting for him
because I wouldn't sell him Pulpit. I would keep him as like a second choice, third choice right back, and just say you rotate.
I think his first choice. I think he was his first choice. I think he goes straight back in when he's fit.
Depends on the game because against the top 6 teams maybe, but against every other team, I need more than that in terms of the build-up play from the back, and that's where I'd probably play Rico. So I could say to him, I'll play you against most of the big sides, no problem, because I prefer your defensive attributes. But, against the other 14, 15 teams in the league, whatever it is, I'd probably go Rico or Akanji for the build-up play. And I don't think he'd accept that.
In that respect, then, would you be comfortable in having Walker at right back and then if Rico gets his minutes, it'll be out of position in defensive midfielder, for instance, and that would solve that position and trying to find ourselves this mythical 6 that we need. We've done it before.
I think it just with Rico, we've got to just decide what position Rico Lewis is going to play. Like we can't just keep playing him.
Foden didn't play in. Foden's still not got a position now, and he's been 6 years.
I agree, and that pisses me off. Like I want to see Foden.
We need bloody right wing again today, which annoyed me.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
You only have to go back 2 seasons ago, and when Kyle Walker was left out of the Champions League final. He was left out of some big games during the treble season. And we sacrificed his pace for the build-up play. So I think what LB is saying is spot on. I think.
But would he accept that, Bevel?
No, he probably wouldn't.
And I think that's the problem. Unless you like Pulpin, you would. And that's fine. No, that's a fine opinion, Pulpin. If that's what
I think this is why.
I don't think he'd accept what I would propose to him.
I think he'd up for the fight. I think he'd be like, you know what,
I think a lot of the end for my position back. Kyle Walker.
What do you mean?
I think he's going to play a lot more than a lot of you think he will.
Yeah, well,
I think he'll still play. I think he'll still get a lot of game time. But I think last year, you look at last year and the amount of games that he played, and also, with Julian Alvarez getting sort of shoehorned into sort of positions, I think those 2 positions last year were probably our weakest points. I think that's partly the reason why some of the games, we didn't win, because I think we need more build-up from a right back, which Walker doesn't really offer. He offers a lot more though. He offers a lot more than sort of the build-up. And then with Julian Alvarez getting shoehorned in, that was another kind of reason as to why. So I think those 2 positions last year really, really affected our style of play. And I think.
I get that partly. I mean, people forget we did go 35 games unbeaten from December.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Walker's minutes, right? So last year Walker played 4,100 minutes.
Oh so yeah, they're definitely coming down. I agree with that.
Yeah, so mate, even if you just reduce that to like 3,000, that's straight away, and you give that other 1,000 straight away to Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis then improves his minutes from last year.
That's what I mean. I think it was there are some saying just ditch Walker completely. Pep ain't gonna do that. I understand that he's being a dick off the field. I get it. Don't care what he does off the field personally. I'm not judging him on what he does off the field. I'm judging him on his football.
No, but I think a lot of people are judging him off his football.
I am.
Last
I
year,
am.
he wasn't particularly great.
I mean,
that's what people are saying.
Well, I don't live my life like that.
Well, do we,
I don't
okay,
judge
okay,
what
then.
you do off
Just
the
a simple
I
question.
judge what you do on YouTube, LB. I don't judge what you do on your personal life.
A simple question though. As fans, as fans, do we judge United for what Mason Greenwood does off the pitch? Do we judge Arsenal for what Thomas Partey's done off the pitch? Like what people do off
for
the
me
pitch
personally,
matters.
no. I never got involved in that stuff.
All right, okay, then fine. So maybe you don't personally, but a lot of people do, and like that's and ultimately, when those players are your club captain, like not just like Thomas Partey and Mason Greenwood are just like players for those clubs. Walker's our club captain, like, and what he does genuinely affect like how people like kids should be looking up to the club captain. And if I had a kid, I would not want them looking up to Kyle Walker.
Did you say the same on Phil Foden
that.
then, Joe? When he was throwing a fire extinguisher around at the back of the MEN Arena or cheating on his missus?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
No, but never know. My point is, we don't judge everyone by the same standards, and we've really gone way off on the tangent here. We're not. What we're doing, my point is, the Walker stuff's become a bit of an agenda, and Phil Foden doesn't get judged on what he does.
But when Phil Foden is plastered all over the front page of the Sun and doing interviews with the Sun about him cheating on his missus, then I will be like, yeah, cool, like get this guy. This guy's an idiot.
So what did you say when Phil Foden went away on international? And listen,
with Iceland,
why I'm not bothered. When he went to Iceland,
yeah,
what did you say?
I said he was an idiot.
He's a kid, bro, compared to.
Did you say drop him?
Well, I don't. Technically, we never found out what actually happened in that hotel room.
This is a weird conversation. This is a proper weird conversation. But it is. It's a weird conversation.
Walker has become a bit of an agenda. It really has.
I agree, Martin. I wouldn't sell him. I'd keep him, but with a reduced role. I just don't know if he's
had one really crap season, and that's it.
Yeah, and I didn't on top of that. People love the romance of Rico Lewis stepping in and coming in this eternal right back we've got for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean? People love that. He might well be that, but if you're looking at pure ability, Walker's the best right back that's ever existed in the Premier League. I don't think that's up for debate. He might have dropped off 10% next season, but look at where that 10% brings you down. He's still, for me, probably the best right back in the league.
Bro, I'll put it clear to everyone. Yeah, I would keep him as a player with reduced minutes. He'd still probably get a lot of minutes, like you say, but it would be reduced. And I would, and me personally, because I think he could be our future, I would be pushing Rico more. If Rico doesn't live up to the standards, I ain't going to be, in with it and saying, oh, he's got to keep playing him. If he doesn't perform, he will be dropped. I'm not attached to anyone at this football.
100%.
I think we all know Pep will do that. Pep will take him out of the team. And if he can't handle that, then he can't handle it. But knowing Kyle Walker as a player, he's been. He will. I can't imagine he'll just going to take it and bend over and just say, you know what, I'm off. I think he'll fight for it. The thing is, I'm not sure that Pep would drop him when he's out of form based on last season. Like he didn't. I
think he would this year, Joe. I genuinely think last year Pep felt he owed him something because he convinced him to stay and sign that contract. I genuinely think this year, if he does play badly, he would drop him.
I really hope that this season is what last season ultimately should have been, because it was so weird that we went from that treble winning season where Walker ultimately was not part of our strongest back four, and then suddenly he became the undroppable, like no matter what his form is like, undroppable member of our back four. And yeah, I'm hoping that this season we end up in a situation where Pep is actually genuinely treating him just like anybody else in the squad, rather than like, untouchable Kyle Walker, which, I think based on his form in the last 12 months, we'll hopefully see him out of the side a lot more than he was last year.
Okay, interesting. Good debate. Let's have a look at some of your guys' comments in the chat.
Needs to go. Tomorrow he's going to start doing, what did you do last night? What did you do last night? Not speaking to you anymore.
Listen, I like these debates. I think these debates are mint, man. I think it's so interesting to get people's views. You know what I mean? And that's why I like having them, man. It's cool to get people's opinions. Big up to Stephen. Says Rico only had one bad game, I recall, last year against Villa, but everyone played crap in that game as well.
Worst game in recent years.
Yeah, we were crap. It was the worst performance of the damn season. That.
Yeah, well, for years it was crazy. Also, Villa were amazing that night. Big up to Prodigal says, of course, Pep's will go with Rico. You forgot Eric Garcia. Was he old enough to play entire season over others? Oh, I don't know. Obviously, Eric Garcia was never as good as Rico Lewis, in my opinion.
Where he is now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like Garcia was slow and small. He wasn't that good. And like I say, bro, I'm backing Rico. I think he's good enough. But if he starts performing badly, I ain't gonna be like, oh, keep playing it. No, I want to fucking win. If he doesn't perform good, he gets out the team. That's it. It's not like a fucking, it's not like a crash. You know what I mean? He's got to perform. He's in with the first team. This is not the EDS no more. So ruthless, and that goes for anyone. Foden the same, Kevin De Bruyne the same, Haaland the same. Anyone doesn't perform, you're getting dropped, mate. You know what I mean? That's how it should be. It's not some controversial statement either. That's like how football literally should be.
That's the standards we have now. 5,
but
10,
I think
15 years ago, it might have been
struggle with those standards. Do you know what I mean? Because people don't like to talk like that because they want to be like, oh no, we've got to give people time. Well, yeah, you get time, but ultimately you are here to perform and you get paid a lot of money for it. Yep. Built to Ferg FIFA with the 12-month member chat says Doku season. Built to you, bro. And Sign Silver says, I'm watching Vinny Jr. and Mbappe toy with Mallorca players. Let's keep him for one more year, then find a replacement next season. Who's he talking about there?
Walker.
Oh, Walker. Yeah. No, I agree, bro. I'd keep him.
I agree with that. Yeah, I do think this year will be Walker's last. Yeah, and just for me is Pep's never taken a player out on a one-to-one dinner before. That tells you where Pep rates Walker. Don't remember him taking Gundogan out for a Chinese.
I think Aguero was the last one, wasn't it? When he was trying to
convince. What I mean, to me, if Pep wants to do it, he does it, and it's his last year. He's been with us 9 years. I just think
it will be 9.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's. No, I'm game. I'm definitely game for that.
But I do think this will definitely be his last year.
I agree. I also look. People love to talk about Frimpong and that, but Frimpong isn't a Kyle Walker replacement. He's a completely different type of football.
Frimpong won't work if we play this more direct winger style.
Yeah, we don't need attacking wingers. We don't. No. That's what Frimpong is, right?
We need
you're never got Frimpong going past Savinho, are you? Overlapping Savinho. Savinho, where are you going?
My thing is that Frimpong would have been. Do you know last season when we were playing both Walker and Vardy? Sat on the. But that would have been perfect for Frimpong. But I just don't think there's any evidence that we're going to do that again this summer. Although what I like about the idea of having Frimpong, it's obviously not going to happen this summer, so this is kind of irrelevant. But obviously at the moment we have Gvardiol who can go really high up and then the other 3 sit back. It gives us the option to do the same on the opposite wing if we have Frimpong to do that attacking role instead. But obviously, so I love the idea of it, but it's certainly not this summer. It's definitely not happening, so I very much doubt it.
Okay, interesting. Right, we're going to wrap it up, but before we do, anyone on the panel got anything that they wanted, anything else to talk about today's game? We covered Kovacic, the wingers. Anything else that we've missed?
I just think it was a really, really good, positive win. Clean sheet. Listen, I'm not. First game in, I ain't expecting no polished performance.
Yeah.
But if that's the starting block,
Yeah.
Going away to Chelsea at 2-0, clean sheet, playing a different new way. Look, listen, I'm down for it, and I can't wait for Ipswich next week. I cannot wait and just bounce into every game. I'm looking at this season, I'm thinking fun. I just want fun. We've won 4 on the bounce. I want to win 5 on the bounce, but having a shitload of fun without by doing it.
We've all had a better day than Raheem Sterling has anyway, so that's all that matters.
Yeah,
exactly. Raheem Sterling will be at West Ham in a year. Well, it might be at West Ham in 10 days.
Remember, he joined Chelsea to win the Ballon d'Or, remember? That's what he said.
He might be at West Ham in 10 days with their 1,500 signing.
I think for today, I think it's important to recognise that it's just the first game of the season. Chelsea are a very, very poor team. You know, let's not get carried away with that. We dispatched them quite easily, but there's going to be a bigger test to come in the next few weeks for sure.
I think we got.
Great.
I know you want to wrap up, but I think we got quite lucky that we've obviously, because they're trying to sort of implement our same passing out from the back style. Probably the ideal time to play them while they're still not very good at doing that. I think it's worked out quite well. Obviously, we all looked at Chelsea first game of the season like, oh, for fuck's sake, we didn't get wins over them last season. But I think given their new manager they've got, it's probably the best time for us to have played them, really.
Yeah, let them get some experience and take some points off Arsenal later on in the season. That'll do us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Arsenal in 4 weeks, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just enough time to get things together.
That's what I mean. That's why I think you'll see Rodri and all them in the next game or two. because you're going to need Rodri.
Oh,
Up and running
Rodri
for
will probably
weeks back.
feature against Ipswich. Yeah. And Walker, because I imagine Walker will probably play that Arsenal game. So Walker will probably play
I think
before
we'll
that
see
as well.
something silly next week. You'll see KDB go into the bench and Foden drops into that 10.
I genuinely
You'll
think
see
KDB and
stuff
Foden
like
are going to
that.
rotate a lot this
Yeah.
year. And I think we're just going to be, because I don't think we're going to play Foden KDB in the same game a lot, because if one of those goes down injured, yeah, I mean, and I think for me, I think we're going to rotate them a lot.
I think it'll be
Capacity as
overkill
well.
with the two flying wingers as well. Be a bit overkill.
Well,
That
you
wouldn't
just said you wanted fun. What do you want? You want a regulated fun? What do you want?
No, I
mate?
want some fun. I don't want 4 each, 5 each.
Organised
It's not
fun.
Kevin Keegan. It's not 2003.
Oh,
2002.
Prodigal wants us to speak about Erison. Yeah, he got lucky today. I can't lie. I spoke about it in the player ratings. Obviously, he made 2 mistakes in pre-season, so we need him to nip that in the bud pretty quick. Listen,
Are you doing a video on that tomorrow then?
Erison, drop Edison for Ortega video. We got tomorrow. Nah, I'll give him one more game. Listen, big up to everyone, man, for joining. Make sure you guys smash a like. Hopefully, you did enjoy the show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Big up to Bevel for jumping on. You can subscribe to Bevel at City Bevel TV. Big up to him. Pulpy as well. First show. Thanks for coming on, man. Hopefully, I'll get you on again for the future panels. Joe, as always, providing us with the debates. That's why he's here. Martin, obviously, for the Mancunian Way, he is going live in 15 minutes. I'm going to redirect you to his channel. And you've got Cy from Side's Locker Room, obviously, the Wednesday show as well. But listen, big up to everyone. If you're watching this back on a replay, be sure to give us your thoughts and comments down below. I want to know what you think about the Doku situation. Where's your view on that debate? And then, and obviously, the Kyle Walker, Rico Lewis, and Manuel Akanji. Right back. Big up, big love. Smash a like. See you next time.